Piano Skills Foundation, Intermediate Level 2, Lesson number 8. In this lesson, you're going to do all kinds of fun stuff in the key of D flat, as well as one reading piece in the relative minor, which is B flat minor. I hope you have fun with these. Remind yourself to go nice and slow, count your rhythms, watch the fingerings, watch the pedalings, and enjoy your practice. All right. So the first thing on your list, as usual, is the scale, arpeggio, cadence, and burlesque. You should do it in several keys. I'm going to just focus on the key of D flat since our reading exercises are in D flat and the relative minor. So I'm going to put the metronome at 100, and here we go. Cadence. Now burlesque. And that was your sakba in the key of D flat. Have fun with that. All right, now we're also going to do the octave scale in D flat, and then I'll jump off to some random key like the key of A. We'll just pick 2 today. You can do as many as your hands can handle, but I'll just do D flat. One that's completely unrelated, the key of A. Okay, and you can do as many of those as you want. I'll just do 2 for the video's sake. Have fun with those. All right. So the third thing on your list for lesson 8 is major and minor triads. I'm going to go ahead and put the metronome at 108. And those are your major and minor triads. Good luck. Okay, so the next thing on your list, the first reading exercise, D flat pedal skipping. So what I'm going to do is, of course, the usual routine. We'll start at the top. There's a couple interesting things about this piece. You'll notice that one hand is always doing staccatos while the other hand is always smooth. In the middle, it switches. At the end of this, there's a DS al fine, which means you repeat it back to the sign and go to the fine, which is the end. Hopefully you already know that. but I'll go ahead and just go sort of phrase by phrase the usual way, right hand, left hand both. We'll put the metronome at a nice slow 80. You might need to go even slower, like down to 60. So whatever you need to do. For the video's sake, we'll do 80. Right hand by itself. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and a 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2. Right, now you'll notice that I counted this rhythm 2, 2, and 3, 4. So you could count it 2 and a 3, or just 2 and 3 if you want. I'm going to sort of make it easier by just doing the and on that. Now, once you get that right hand learned, left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Okay? So now we're going to put the hands together after you get the left hand learned. You'll notice the left hand's doing a lot of jumping around, and at this point, for a music reader, that's a little bit tough to do those jumps without looking down. So we'll leave it up to you as to how hard you work on keeping your eyes on the music. If you need to glance down for some of those, it would be okay. But the best is to do it without glancing down. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. All right, so now there's the first line. Once you get that, things are tumbling down here. Once you get that line 3 perfect, then of course do the next line the same way. Right hand starting 1, 2. It starts the exact same way, but the fingering is different, so I ended with a thumb. 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2. Now I want to show you how I counted that rhythm right there. It's this one on the last measure. Let's see, this is measure 8. This is 1 and a 2 and 3. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. So that's how you count that rhythm. Once you get that right hand part learned, let's do the left hand. Left hand starts with the second finger because where it came from. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. And then left hand jumps up. Oops, I hit the wrong finger. It's the third finger. Make sure your left hand jumps up. Third finger, you might have to glance down for that. The left hand takes the melody at that point, so it's going to be louder, and the right hand's going to be softer. So now once you get those two learned, put them together. 1, 2. Oops, I should have started with the second finger. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. 1. And you'll notice I left hand was holding, right hand staccato. Okay, so that's what you're going to work on. Once you get 3 perfect, of course, on those 2 lines, each one of those, then you can move on to this. Of course, after you put this one 3 perfect, you'll put them together. I'm going to go on to the next line. Right hand should be playing soft, light staccato chords like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. 1. And you'll hear me counting the left hand's rhythm while I play the right hand. That'll help you prepare for putting them together. So do the same thing. When you do the right hand, count that left hand rhythm too. Here is the left hand part. It's the melody now, so you're going to play it stronger. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. 1. Okay, and once you've mastered that, you can put them together. It's at this point where I realize I am really going fast for somebody who would be brand new at this, so you should really be down at like 60 when you first learn it. But we're saving some time here, but going faster. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1. All right. And of course, once you get 3 perfect on that, put them all together. We're going to go on to the next line, which is very similar. Left hand starts exactly the same. So does the right hand, but we've got to play the whole thing separately anyway. So here we go. Measure 13. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, so hopefully you notice that I went back to the sign. So we go right back to there. Not back to the beginning, but to the sign. Okay, so now the left hand, third finger here. This is measure 13 again. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now, one thing I didn't make clear on the fingering issue is when you take the repeat, you do not have to jump to the 2 that was there. We had the 2 previously because of where we came from here. But if you're repeating from the end, you can just go straight to a 5 there. So you might want to pencil in a 5 for the second time, or just remember that, which is what I did. So now we're going to go ahead and do both hands on that bottom line, like this. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. All right. So now, once you've done 3 perfect on all of them, of course, you can put it all together. I'm going to play the whole thing here for you at 80. Your first attempt might be way down at 60, but that's okay. And work your way up. We'll do it at 80, and then I'll do it a second time at 112, so you can hear what it's going to sound like if you get it all the way up to speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and 3, 4. And that's the end. I'm going to go ahead and do it up at 112. And as usual, you don't have to get it this fast, but if you hang in there with a piece until you get it this fast, you'll have learned a lot more or gotten a lot better. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, Well, you could catch if you would watch the video closely. I made a few mistakes, a couple fingering errors. On the very end there, I didn't hit this G flat down here. I went to an A flat instead, but you hopefully will hear what exactly this thing should sound like and work hard on it. Have fun with that. Okay, so your second reading exercise is in the key of B flat minor. And on this one, you're going to have to learn how to start bringing out a melody that is marked by all these little tiny lines that you'll see written underneath certain notes. That tells you that those particular notes are the melody notes. Some people call those tenuto markings. Some people call those marcato. It doesn't matter what you call it. It means bring out the melody. So you'll have to go really slow. Like if I did it as slow as you probably should going at 40, this video would be way too long. So I'm not going to go this slow, but I wanted to show you, you can learn how to do this and train your hand how to bring out a melody, but you have to teach it really slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so you could even go slower than that if you need to. I'm going to go 52 so the video doesn't go on forever. And here's what it would sound like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and change. 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1. Okay, so there's the right hand part. I'm going to play the left hand part. It's got an interesting line. 1 and 2. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. The left hand makes the pedaling easy because the pedal changes every time the left hand plays. Here's what they sound like together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so there's the first line. Once you get 3 perfect on that line, then you're ready to move on to the second line. Here's what the right hand sounds like, bringing out those melody notes, I hope. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1. Then, when you transition to the third line, the right hand will no longer have the melody. We're going to put it in the left hand, so you can get softer on the right hand there. Left hand on that second line goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3, and then you got to jump up. 1 and 2 and 3, and then your thumb on F. 1, and this is an F down here. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, now this is what they sound like together. 1. Notice at the end my left hand is stronger than my right because of that third line melody in the left hand. So we'll get to that here, but before you do that, of course, you could put those 2 lines together. If I were to guess at how long it would take for a person to really get good at these before you even tackle this, maybe 2 or 3 good practices before you even get to this. But here we are on the third line. Right hand softer, 1 and 2, and no pedal. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and pedal. Okay, that's the right hand part, and it's not the melody, so I tried to play it a little softer. The left hand is the melody. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. All right, now here's what they sound like together. So that was the left hand taking the melody, both hands together. This is really a hard line of music. You might need to chop it into smaller parts, like just do 2 measures at a time, or even 1 measure on this one. If you were to sit there and work on this measure, I would go slow. This is measure 9, 10, 11. Measure 11 is the hardest measure. So you could put your metronome, or even just turn the metronome off and just play from here to here, which would be a really slow like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, practicing just 1 measure, like the hardest one, like that, will help you master it, and then gradually you could get faster. I'm not going to do that right now, but I'm going to assume that maybe you might do some of that on your own before you're done, and before you can play this one 3 perfect. Now let's go to the bottom line and finish it up. I'm going to move this back up to 52. Right hand by itself. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, accidentally change the pedal on the last note, I don't think you need to do that. I would let them ring out. Now the left hand, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, off. All right, now both hands. Finished with the wrong fingers. Hopefully it doesn't really matter at that point, but you can get whatever fingerings you want. So now once you get your 3 perfects on the bottom line and you've learned the whole thing, time to put it all together. Here's what it sounds like at 52. That was at 52. You probably noticed it was a little bit shaky in this part. It's pretty hard, and I haven't practiced it enough, but we'll see if I can do it up at 66. If I crash and burn, we might leave it in there for you just so you can have some entertainment at my expense. But anyway, here's what it sounds like up at 66. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, So I kind of made it through that. I had to edit a little bit here because it was so bad, but this I realize is a really hard part. Good luck with that. I hope you have fun with the whole thing. All right, so now we're moving on to our learning and memorizing piece, Allegro scherzando. Last time in lesson 7, we did the first 2 lines. You should review those today the same way you did when you first learned them, but I'm going to just focus on the next 2 lines, which is measure 9 with the pickup note. We're going to go from measure 9 all the way up through measure 16, which is this one. We'll overlap to the first note at the bottom of measure 17. I'm going to play the right hand by itself, and we're going to sort of have an accent. I don't know if you've heard or if you know, but this SFZ is called a sforzando, which is a strong accent on that first note. So that'll be strong, and then instantly we'll get softer. So right hand's here. We're going to go really slow. And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. And that was the first 2 measures starting in this 3rd line. So measure 9 and measure 10. Now we're going to do the left hand once you get the right hand memorized. you'll notice I tried to slur and then staccato on both of those. That's what you're going to do, make it smooth and then staccato. The top note is repeated, so you can't make that real smooth, but you can connect the bottom note. So you can work on doing that fifth finger, going to the fourth finger each time. So once you get that left hand learned, then do both hands. Okay, and of course you could be going much slower than this to get it learned, but as usual I'm going a little fast on these videos. After you get that memorized and you can do it 3 times perfectly, then it's time to move on to the next one. I think I'm going to include the pickup note on this one as well. So right hand with a pickup to measure 11. Okay, and then of course the left hand on that same spot, left hand. And then once you've learned that and memorize it, then both hands. Okay, I think I messed up the fingering. You can watch the video. I totally messed up this fingering in the left hand, but hopefully you'll get it right. And then once you get your 3 perfects, put it all together, do the whole line with a stop in the middle. Sounds like this. Now from there, I'm going to go back and do the pickup. Okay, and then once, of course, you've got that with the stop, we're going to take the stop out and do the whole line until you get 3 perfects. Oh my goodness, I missed that. Sorry about that. But of course that would not be one of your perfect ones, but I'm going to move on anyway. So 3 perfect on that line and then move on to the next one. The right hand by itself, smooth and then staccato, smooth, staccato, smooth, staccato, and then short, short. So I think of this phrase, since it's louder, we're going to be strong and then echo that phrase with all staccatos on the next one. Once you get that right hand learned and memorized, left hand does the same thing. And then I sort of missed it. Okay, once you get that left hand learned, both hands. Now that you have that memorized and you get 3 perfect on that, move on to the next part. Right hand, all staccatos, and 1, and 2, and 1. At the very end, you put in a slur leading to the next one. Now the left hand on that. And 1. Whoa, my eyes played a trick on me. I almost went to the wrong notes, but that's it. 2 and a 5 there. Now both hands, when you get that left hand memorized, both hands go like this. So at the end, your left hand's holding, your right hand at a staccato. Now after you get 3 perfect on that, then put the whole line together with a stop in the middle, like this. And then, after the stop, okay, and then of course, 3 perfect on the whole line, like this. Okay, and of course, once you get your 3 perfect on that, then put those 2 lines together. And here's what they sound like. And this is all you need to memorize today, and then you'll have the whole first section learned. So here it is. almost messed that up again, but I got it. So now there's that entire 2-line stretch that you just learned today, and if you put it together with the top 2 lines, then you have almost the entire first page learned. So have fun with that.